At one point in the video, Cardoso was asked, quote, "Who is the most promising player in the WNBA apart from you?" Question mark. Very interesting indeed. Let's watch this.
A jogadora mais promissora da liga tirando você.
Kamilla Cardoso just did what Angel Reese wouldn't dare. She gave Caitlin Clark her flowers, on camera, in public. No passive aggression, no shade, just facts. The Chicago Sky's top rookie called Clark the most promising player in the WNBA. And trust me, that little soundbite just detonated the league. Grab a seat because this storyline's about to get real messy.
Angel Reese is much closer to being a content creator, a C-list, D-list celebrity than she is to being an actual basketball player. Did a video last night. The way she is going to be used this season has been modified.
Let's cut the noise. Kamilla Cardoso didn't stumble into this league by accident. The 6'7" inches Brazilian tower didn't need a double-double streak to trend on social media. She doesn't need TikTok antics, tunnel fits, or TMZ drama. She walks into arenas, dominates the paint, and then casually flips the script on every tired narrative thrown at Caitlin Clark. And that's exactly what she did in her latest interview on NBA Brazil's Instagram feed.
A jogadora mais promissora da liga tirando você.
Caitlin Clark.
When asked who she thought was the most promising player in the WNBA besides herself, Cardoso didn't hesitate, didn't blink, didn't play coy. She straight up said it, Caitlin Clark. Now pause right there. This wasn't just some casual comment. This was a headline wrapped in gold foil, hand-delivered to every bitter fan who thought the Sky Fever rivalry would be built entirely on pettiness and beef.
Who's the most promising player in the WNBA? Caitlin Clark. Who's the most famous person in your phone contacts? Angel Reese.
While half the league still acts allergic to giving Clark credit, Kamilla just took a torch and lit up the truth. And the fallout. Oh, it's coming. Angel Reese fans are already punching air. The Chicago We Make It About Reese crowd is scrambling to decode why their team's top-tier post player would publicly praise their draft rival. Spoiler alert. Because Cardoso actually watches the game, because she knows ball, because she isn't threatened by Clark, she's intrigued by her. And that's where things get juicy. See, this wasn't even the first time Cardoso had spoken about Caitlin with that level of respect. After the 2023 Final Four, when Clark dropped jaws with that Iowa win over South Carolina, Kamilla didn't storm off or throw shade. She acknowledged Clark's insane court vision and deep range like a professional who recognized another elite. Then came 2024 National Championship. South Carolina got their revenge. Cardoso and her squad shut down Clark's crew. But once again, zero trash talk from Kamilla, just a championship celebration and quiet acknowledgement of what Clark brought to the court. You know why? Because real hoopers recognize real. That whole manufactured narrative about Clark doesn't get respect in the league crumbles the second someone like Kamilla speaks up. She's not just respected, she's studied. Players know what she's capable of, even if Twitter trolls and bitter benchwarmers don't. Now this latest interview, it was the equivalent of Kamilla planting a flag in the middle of the rivalry battlefield and saying, "Yay, Clark's the truth, deal with it." And she said it wearing a Chicago Sky jersey. Let that marinate for a second. Cardoso plays for the same team as Angel Reese, the player most associated with beefing with Clark, the player who body-checked Clark's career highlights with shoulder nudges and social media jabs, the one who treated every Fever matchup like a UFC weigh-in. And yet here's Kamilla, standing in the same locker room, publicly naming Clark as the WNBA's most promising player. The levels of that are wild. First, it blows up the idea that the Sky is a monolith, that everyone in that building is on board with freezing Clark out of praise or painting her as a villain. Clearly, Kamilla isn't here for that noise. She's here for basketball, and Clark brings the kind of game she respects. Second, it confirms what a lot of fans have suspected for a while. Kamilla Cardoso is the real franchise centerpiece in Chicago. Drafted 3rd overall, She wasn't picked to be someone else's sidekick. She was picked because she's the full package: rim protector, post scorer, floor general in the paint. And now, she's also the team's most mature voice off the court. She's not chasing headlines, she's creating perspective, and that ironically makes her even more dangerous, because now she's not just a walking double-double, she's the player who might shift how this entire rivalry is perceived. Fever fans, they're already fantasizing. You scroll through the comments under that interview, and it's a fever dream of come to Indiana, Cardoso x Clark = dynasty. And will trade Reese for a Gatorade bottle if it means getting Kamilla. And honestly, they're not wrong to dream, because on a basketball level, Clark and Cardoso complement each other like peanut butter and buckets. Clark thrives on creating space and throwing laser passes. Cardoso eats in the paint and has hands soft enough to catch a meteor. Put them together, and you're staring down a nightmare scenario for every other defense in the league. Now let's be clear, this is all hypothetical for now, but even in fantasy, the blueprint is scary. Clark runs point, Cardoso sets high screens, rolls hard, seals low, and dominates the glass. Defenders, pick your poison, fight through the screen and get cooked by Clark's pull-up. Drop into the paint, and Cardoso is already dunking on your dignity. And off the court, the vibes would be immaculate. Two players who don't need theatrics to make noise, who don't need to subtweet each other to trend, who let their games do the talking, and then speak respectfully about their peers afterward. So when Kamilla called Clark the most promising player in the WNBA, it wasn't some casual compliment, it was a statement of value, of what kind of league she wants, of what kind of teammate she could be, and that's something Fever fans won't forget. Meanwhile, Chicago's got a whole different situation brewing, because while Kamilla is out here praising the best talent in the league, her teammate is going viral for cosplay interviews, half-hearted rebounds, and more fouls than finesse. The contrast isn't subtle, it's a billboard. Kamilla is what every team wants: production, professionalism, and presence. She makes everyone around her better. Reese, let's just say the jury's still out, and Chicago fans know it. That's why half the comments under Sky-related posts sound like confused parents trying to figure out how they ended up rooting for two completely different players. One's building a career, the other's building a brand. And fans are picking sides real fast. Kamilla didn't mean to start a civil war, she just told the truth. And in today's WNBA, that's apparently a revolutionary act. The fallout from Kamilla Cardoso's comment didn't just rattle a few insecure fan bases, it kicked off a full-blown identity crisis for the Chicago Sky. One of their own top players essentially just said, "Caitlin Clark is the future," not in a passive-aggressive, "she's good but" kind of way. No, just straight-up respect, period. Now here's where it gets spicy. You'd think a franchise would rally around that kind of maturity. But the Sky, let's just say they've been a little too busy trying to build an influencer factory out of Angel Reese's highlight edits instead of, developing actual basketball chemistry. And Kamilla, she's not playing that game. She didn't sign up to be a clout chaser. She signed up to hoop. She doesn't need to post cryptic tweets or clap back at haters on IG stories. She walks on the floor and dominates. And when asked a simple question about who's promising, she answers it like a grown-up. Clark. That one-word answer is haunting Sky management right now, because they know the storm it stirred up. They also know the optics are brutal. Let's break this down. You've got Cardoso, the #3 pick, a walking 2010, when given the touches, showing nothing but poise, professionalism, and honesty in front of the camera. Then you've got the #7 pick doing weird energy interviews and acting like this is WW. One is respected across the league, the other is still trying to prove she belongs in it. And the fans? They're not dumb. They saw what happened last year when the Sky fed Reese non-stop and watched their win-loss record nosedive. Kamilla's minutes mysteriously disappeared in key games, while Reese was getting cooked and clapping at the crowd like she just dropped 40. They've seen the favoritism, and they're over it. Now Kamilla's comment has reignited a massive wave of support, not just from Fever fans, but from neutral WNBA watchers, who just want to see basketball respected again. People who are exhausted with the drama, and thirsty for hoopers, who don't need theatrics to earn their airtime. And let's not pretend like this isn't a low-key recruitment pitch from Indiana fans either, because oh, they heard it loud and clear. They know Clark needs a true center, someone who can finish inside, rebound like a machine, and be a brick wall on defense. Aaliyah Boston is great, no doubt, but pair her with Kamilla, and you've got the WNBA's Twin Towers 2.0. That's a front court nobody wants to see, ever. Fever fans are already spamming trade machine simulations. What if we send XYZ to Chicago for Kamilla? Would the sky be dumb enough to let her walk after this season? Can we just clone her? And honestly, if Chicago keeps fumbling this, don't rule anything out. Kamilla is a pro's pro. She's not going to sit quietly. If her role keeps getting minimized, while the spotlight shines on someone dropping 8 points and 3 fouls in 25 minutes, and if that frustration builds, and Indiana's front office sees an opportunity, you better believe the Fever will pounce, because they get it. They understand that you don't just build around talent, you build around temperament, around mindset, around players who show up and raise the standard. That's what Kamilla does, and the way she talks about Clark, it tells you everything you need to know about what kind of teammate she is. There's no jealousy, no bitterness, just acknowledgement of greatness. She knows Clark's game elevates others, and she respects that. She's not here to compete for camera time, she's here to win. Now let's flip it and talk about Caitlin's side. Clark's reaction to praise like this is always the same: gratitude and focus. No showboating, no I told you so energy, just humility, and a ridiculous work ethic. And that's why players like Kamilla rock with her, because she's not just good, she's grounded. She doesn't bite back at critics, she doesn't dunk on her haters, she lets her game cook them instead. And maybe that's why this moment feels bigger than just a comment. It's a shift, a reminder that real recognize real, and the league is slowly waking up to who the actual leaders are. The hype machine can only take you so far. Eventually the game speaks louder than the branding. And Kamilla Cardoso, she's fluent in game. Now some Reese defenders have tried spinning Kamilla's praise as betrayal, like somehow giving Clark her due is disloyal. That logic is laughable. This isn't high school lunch table drama, it's pro basketball. And real pros support each other, even across rivalries. The WNBA needs more of that energy, less fake beef, more actual ball talk. Kamilla and Caitlin may have battled in college, but it was never personal. It was competitive. It was elite talent going head-to-head on the biggest stages. And now that they're both pros, there's a mutual respect there that's undeniable. If anything, Kamilla's quote proves she's got vision beyond box scores. She's thinking long-term, legacy, greatness, not follower counts. She wants to see the league grow, and she knows Clark is a massive part of that growth. Whether people admit it or not, ticket sales, TV ratings, merch, she's driving it all, and she's doing it while averaging 20+ points and dimes all over the court. Kamilla respects that grind, because she's on the same one, and honestly, if the Sky fumble her, it might end up being one of the biggest front office L's of the decade. Imagine letting a generational big slip cue through your hands, because you're too busy promoting your viral clip queen. That's not just bad management, that's sabotage. And if Kamilla ends up in Indiana one day, just know it started with one simple answer to one simple question: who's the most promising player in the Caitlin Clark. Kamilla didn't need to hedge or soften it, she just told the truth. And now the league's feeling it. The shot's been fired. The lines have been drawn, and no matter what happens next, we'll look back at this moment as the day Kamilla Cardoso set the tone, not just for a rivalry, but for the whole damn league. Kamilla Cardoso just flipped the script, and the league better take notes. Respect isn't a gift, it's earned, and Caitlin Clark's finally getting hers from someone who actually knows the game. If you're here for real basketball, no fake narratives, hit that like button. Drop your thoughts below, and subscribe so you never miss moments that actually matter.